This is a warning to all Tesla stock investors. President Trump just stated that he is open to Elon Musk buying TikTok, and what's the reason for that? Maybe they already talked about this. And here's the thing that to me definitely sounds like Elon Musk is at least for sure considering buying it. First of all, Elon Musk did make a few comments about TikTok, about not banning TikTok in the United States, emphasizing his long-held beliefs that such a ban would contradict principles of freedom of speech. But then he brought up the fact that TikTok operates in America while X is not operating in China. And I would be surprised if Trump and Elon Musk did not talk about TikTok privately. But more importantly, Elon Musk has not made any direct public comments about buying or not buying TikTok this month. There's no direct statement from Musk about buying or not buying TikTok. If he is not considering buying it, do you think that by now he would have made a comment about it? I mean, you have some Tesla stock shareholders on edge because they remember the ride down from $400 all the way to about $100 per share. And Elon Musk selling Tesla stock and then buying Twitter was a big reason for why the stock behaved like that. Of course, not the only reason, but it was substantial. So even if the chance of Elon buying TikTok is just, let's say, 10%, I think it's still something that we should pay very close attention to, because almost certainly Elon Musk would need to sell some Tesla stock. Now, hopefully he sells more of SpaceX stock, or maybe he sells XAI stock, or even X stock. But mostly and largely, it's probably going to be Tesla stock if he does end up buying TikTok. There's another thing, though, that he could do. He could just raise a lot of money to buy TikTok. Elon Musk is definitely capable of that. So maybe instead of having to sell tens of billions of dollars worth of Tesla stock, he would only sell a few billion to buy TikTok. After all, the CEO of one of the biggest financial institutions in the United States of America, JP Morgan CEO, says Elon Musk is the Einstein of our generation. These two actually had a lawsuit which JP Morgan filed in 2021, alleging that the company breached a 2014 stock warrant deal after the bank lowered the exercise price. And under the contract, if Tesla stock traded above a certain price, it would owe JP Morgan money in either shares or cash, and it would be a lot. But suddenly, JP Morgan dropped a lawsuit without prejudice last November. What a coincidence. It's like something big happened in November, specifically November 5th. But I will take all the praise from him. The guy is our Einstein, he says. I'd like to be helpful to him and his companies as much as we can, which definitely doesn't sound hypocritical. Elon and I hugged it out. He came to one of our conferences. He and I had a nice long chat. We settled some of our differences because, you know, right now, Elon Musk has so much power and Jamie Dimon leads one of the biggest financial institutions, which would really be affected by a lot of deregulation, because the way the big banks get even bigger is when you add regulation, the small institutions, they get really hurt. But the big ones, you basically create moats, which you can't really beat. But Elon Musk is going to be in charge of DOGE, which will deregulate the government and overall just remove a lot of silly regulations. And X, of course, is going to be a platform attached to credit cards, bank accounts. It's going to be a financial institution as well. So these two are going to become competitors. And Elon Musk does have some history of not being the nicest person to people that wronged him. So I think the CEO of JP Morgan Chase thought about it a little bit and realized, oh, well, he's now going to be close to Trump and he might really influence my business in a negative way. Do I want to fight this guy, or do I want to try to make up with him? And hopefully he doesn't hold a grudge against me, and maybe we can even do something productive together. So I think the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, he definitely made the right call here. He should have done it sooner, but it's okay. Also, the market cap of JP Morgan Chase is $740 billion. This institution is massive. Not as massive as Tesla right now, but is massive. And now that we have that lawsuit settled, is going to be it for lawsuits. No more issues for Elon Musk because now he's a part of this new administration. So here I present to you 3 lawsuits filed within minutes after Trump became president. These lawsuits are against DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency led by Elon Musk. Elon Musk, however, is really good at fighting lawsuits, and he was able to fight off all of these attacks even when he had the opposite of allies in the White House and the government. But going forward, he will have close friends and allies in the White House as well as the government overall. Not to even mention the fact that DOGE can have power to literally deregulate a lot of these regulations, which could potentially prevent it from executing its power. And I definitely agree with Elon Musk and President Trump that the US is about to enter a golden age, and for Tesla, it will also be a golden age. And maybe because pretending to work while taking money from taxpayers is no longer acceptable because government workers will actually have to work from offices and not from home, maybe these people at NISA will finally be able to talk to each other, communicate a little better, and stop calling software updates recalls. And the media, of course, they run with it. And in some cases, I think it would be appropriate to call the media hate stream media, which of course would have nothing to do with what I'm showing you here. I don't know why it's on this screen. I'm just going to move on. And with the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk actually is going to have even more power than previously thought, because Vivek Ramaswamy will no longer be a part of it, as he is running for governor of Ohio. Elon Musk will start with a small team of just 20 people, Trump said, but of course this team is going to be extremely effective and efficient, and really it would be a bit paradoxical to have a huge team to do all of the cutting, because you do want to save money and you don't want to really spend too much money building this huge team at DOGE, which you don't need. Elon Musk can do a good job with a small team. Earlier, though, there were some discussions about the size of the team, and it is expected that the team should grow to about maybe 100 people or so. But you need a relatively small team to get things done quickly. If you have a team of 1,000 people just to make one decision, how many people will need to be on board just to do anything? And just overall, the changes and the things that Elon Musk will do with DOGE, it will be good for the whole country, and of course, it will be good for Tesla. If the stock market does well, Tesla stock naturally will do better as a side result of that. And because of the bureaucracy which will shrink, Tesla will also be able to execute a little bit more effectively. And the changes that will happen from DOGE, I really think, very generally, and I'm being very serious right now, I really think people are underestimating the scope and the end result that DOGE eventually will bring to the United States of America. And people really underestimate just how incompetent a lot of the government is. You have LA fires like this, with seemingly endless rows of houses completely burned down, and supposedly the damages are over $150 billion. More than 34,000 acres of land have been burnt. And this is just a small snapshot of what burned down. This is not even 1%. The government is filled with people like this. You will not believe this, but this is an LA Fire Department deputy chief.
Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
And so in this case, Elon says, DEI means people die, and people actually did die during these fires. Elon Musk quoted this post, so I believe he agrees with what the post says here. DEI was a fire chief's focus, and the department plus the city spent money on DEI while dangerous brush hadn't been cleared and fire hydrants didn't have water. It's like someone who was incompetent, someone who didn't really quite know how to do their job, did the job that they were doing. There are so many examples of this. I believe in competency and meritocracy. If you are good at that job, you should be the one doing it, not someone who looks different from you and is worse at the job than you. I don't think that person should get the job. I think the most competent person should get the job. I think there should be education opportunities for everyone. But then after that, if you're good, okay, you can have the job. If you're not, sorry, but we're not gonna let people die. And this new administration agrees. The new administration directed all federal diversity, equity, and inclusion employees to be put on leave. So with affirmative action from the federal government hiring practices being removed, we will have a government based on merit and nothing else, which of course will spark an extreme outrage. But when people get used to preferential treatment, equal treatment seems like discrimination. So government is already becoming more efficient, and DOGE, Elon says, will greatly improve government efficiency, saving your tax dollars and ending rampant inflation, which will be great for the whole country overall, sending the stock market higher as well, which will also send Tesla stock higher. And with the US going forward, being more focused on merit, of course, more foreign investors will want to invest in the US. And the president said that he already secured $3 trillion in foreign investments in 24 hours. That remains to be seen exactly how much of that will actually come into the US, but clearly is going to be more than before. Back to potential warnings to Tesla stock investors. Trump just signed a lot of executive orders, 196 actually, just in one day, and none of them specifically target the $7,500 EV tax credit, which many Tesla stock investors will like. I think in the long term, removing the subsidy in the US is good for Tesla, but not in the short term. So in the short term, this is certainly good news for now. And while the president himself does have some authority to alter some of the EV credit eligibility rules to some degree, ultimately, he does need to get congressional approval to completely cancel the subsidy. And overall, I definitely agree with Sawyer here that no doubt the EV credit will be canceled at some point, but as of right now, we don't know yet when that will be. There was one executive order that does have some impact on EVs, but specifically, it is about unleashing American energy, which is an executive order which focuses on pausing spending on electric vehicle charging infrastructure. And we know that some of that money just was completely wasted on, for example, hydrogen stations. Hydrogen? And all of that money was given to other companies that are not Tesla. And we know that they are not efficient at building these chargers, and Tesla of course is. So yeah, pausing that makes sense because maybe there would be some money left over to give to Tesla, which actually can build these effectively at a much lower cost. There's been a lot of drama between Elon Musk and the OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, and there's more now. Elon Musk replied with they don't have the actual money to this post, announcing the Stargate project. The Stargate project is a new company which intends to invest $500 billion over the next 4 years building new AI infrastructure for OpenAI in the US. We will begin deploying $100 billion immediately. So this is a pretty big announcement, but Elon Musk is not so positive about it. Elon said that SoftBank has well under $10 billion secured. How that on good authority? And then there's a reply from Sam Altman. Wrong, as you surely know. Want to come visit the first site already underway? This is great for the country. I realize what is great for the country isn't always what's optimal for your companies, but in your new role, I hope you will mostly put America first. And then he added, I genuinely respect your accomplishments and think you are the most inspiring entrepreneur of our time. So there's definitely going to be some drama happening around this, and I'm going to be reporting about it. But Sam Altman was seen with the CEO of SoftBank. This guy is a multi-billionaire, as well as with Larry Ellison, who is also a multi-billionaire. These are some of the richest people in the whole world. And now some good news for Tesla specifically. Piper Sandler, and these guys actually have made some good calls before for Tesla stock. They just raised Tesla stock price target to $500 per share, and they say that Tesla, of course, has true real-world AI. Alexander Potter from Piper Sandler actually is a 4.81 star Wall Street analyst. He's number 409 out of 9,300 Wall Street analysts. However, his success rate is 48%, but when he is right, he's right big. And of course, I believe he is going to be right about Tesla stock in the long term. And looking at Alexander Potter's track record with Tesla stock, oh yes, he has been right. He did say hold for a little bit, but he didn't say sell. And after that, he just said buy, 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 buy. Even at the top, he said buy. That's because I believe he might be looking a little bit further ahead, and he realizes that Elon Musk is going to bring a huge wave of growth to Tesla eventually. Now, the thing that's big news from Piper Sandler here is that for the first time, FSD is included in its price target and valuation. Piper is now modeling a contribution from full self-driving licensing. It values Tesla's existing businesses at just below $300 per share, inclusive of full self-driving. But they also say that they actually haven't attempted to forecast a contribution from Tesla's more ambiguous artificial intelligence opportunities. Now let's take a look at Tesla in China. Tesla reported 10,000 vehicles insured in China, which is basically the delivery number. Keep in mind that China is about to have its Chinese New Year and everything shuts down in the country during that period of time. So this number I'm actually fairly happy with. And the Model Y actually still accounts for 80% of Tesla sales in China. Oh, and will you look at this? Tesla Europe sales were just released, showing that Tesla grew 14% in December year over year. The full year over year number is slightly different though. And this is some excellent performance from FSD. Before FSD sometimes did have trouble seeing small objects, but it can now dodge two little bunnies at the same time at night. Good for these bunnies. And a lot of people speculated that Tesla V13 FSD would not really work out too well on snow, and here's a clip showing that, oh, well, it's working fine here, which is from this guy, and he has some big words to say. This was the first day in a while that I got to test FSD on snowy roads. Because I lack experience here, I was very cautious and entered the car thinking I would be driving manually most of the time, but holy F, he says. What an improvement for version 13. Many roads were covered and blocking visibility. The kinds of roads you need to reference your space by the mounts on each side of the road. No problem for V13. Did exactly how I would and slowed down whenever it needed to. He said he took over a few times on this drive because he's new to testing in snow, but he believes he definitely never actually needed to. On top of that, the car actually slipped quite a few times, but the car is amazing at finding its balance. Even Tesla replied to this post. Visible light, 2 cameras and a brain is how humans have moved through space on 4 wheels forever. Everyone is underestimating a brain with 8 eyes, and it's so obvious as a user. And we have some more good news here for Tesla in regards to feedback about Teslas from police officers. Officers from 8 police departments tested Tesla police vehicles. One of them said, "The difference is absolutely staggering. I don't want to go back to this ICE car now. After driving the Tesla modified package, this ICE police car just feels so much more sluggish. The Tesla is just honestly far superior." Not just a little bit better. No. He said far superior. Another officer said, "I might go buy one now." And the third officer said, "I had never driven one until today. I have a different mindset here at 2 p.m. than I did at 6 a.m. I was not necessarily sold, but I am now." And what is this? The steel exterior of the Cybertruck birthing tunnel exit at Giga Texas is now complete. Okay. So you're telling me that Cybertrucks will come off the production line and drive through the tunnel on their way to the outbound car lot through this exit. This is awesome. Here's some more good news for Tesla. We are raising our price target on Tesla from $515 to $550, says Dan Ives, as we have growing confidence in the demand delivery story for 2025, along with the fast tracking of the autonomous feature under the Trump administration. We view this as a golden era for Musk and Tesla into 2025. This is still a bit short-sighted because this is not going to be just the golden age in 2025. It's going to be the golden age for Tesla, the US, Elon Musk especially, for all the years to come in 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028. The next 4 years will be incredible. I do have one more warning to all Tesla stock investors. The attacks that we have seen against Elon Musk until now, relatively speaking, I think will turn out to actually have been small. Think about this. Who is the media's #1 enemy going forward in the long term? Is it going to be Trump? He cannot run again. He cannot be elected president again, so obviously it's not him. They will still report against him, of course, but Elon Musk is a bigger threat. So if the media can take a story and make it look really bad and make Elon look extremely bad, they will go with it, generally speaking. And so there was a lot of talking about a certain gesture that Elon Musk made from many different news outlets, most of them really attacking Elon. And so let's talk about that salute. This salute, which was done here twice, emphasizing the intention, or specifically performed and repeated for emphasis and clarity. That was AOC's post, which was quoting a post from ADL. ADL is an organization which self-describes as to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and secure justice and fair treatment to all. And this organization before seriously called out Elon, but that was a while ago. And this time, actually, they are saying that this is a delicate moment. It's a new day, and yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed, and social media only adds to the anxiety. It seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm, not a Nazi salute, but again, we appreciate that people are on edge. In this moment, all sides should give one another a bit of grace, perhaps even the benefit of the doubt, and take a breath. This is a new beginning. Let's hope for healing and war-to-war unity in the months and years ahead. And by the way, obviously, this is not a Nazi salute from AOC. You could certainly make it seem so, but I don't believe it is. And if I spend a few days compiling stuff, I am sure I will find many other high-profile politicians making a similar mistake before. Now, what Elon Musk did certainly did not look good. Let's face it, Elon Musk is the king of doing awkward moves on stage in front of so many people. Should have Elon Musk done this move, for example, here? It's just silly. It's beyond silly. It just keeps getting sillier. Oh, Elon. If you think we are finished, I am sad to inform you that we are certainly not. Elon certainly has a lot of moves that many people will regret ever having seen. I enjoy these, but I know that most people find these extremely awkward and unprofessional. So those who don't fully know Elon, of course, if they see this, is going to look extremely bad. And there's just no way to say it. It's just bad. But if you actually know Elon and you haven't seen these silly dances and these awkward moves, then you know that this was not done with bad intentions. And I definitely agree with Piers Morgan here. Elon Musk was very ill-advised to do this kind of salute to denote his clearly stated "my heart goes out to you" sentiment, but he obviously didn't mean it as a Nazi salute, and anyone who says he did is being a disingenuous idiot or is just not fully informed of Elon's track record of silly moves, awkward moves, silly dances, and being autistic. There's a meme, however, and I'm hiding something, which I don't think I need to show, but you get the picture. Anyway, there's supposedly a spectrum, and if you fall under the spectrum of autism, then you immediately fall under this spectrum as well, supposedly. More importantly, however, did you know that people that do yoga also fall under this certain spectrum? And again, just to be very clear, should have Elon Musk done that? No, I don't think so. Was it silly of him to do it? Yes. Does he do a lot of silly things? Yes. However, what's more important is that the government is going to be cleaned up. Elon Musk is about getting things done, and already he says the cure is being administered. He's quoting a post about the woke mind virus in academia. Elon Musk is also posting this: mega, he says, which stands for Make Europe Great Again. And Elon is picking a fight with the leader of Germany. I'm sure there will be more to report about that later. But more importantly, it was found that not even one government building was even half occupied. And with people in the government going back to offices, I believe the government is going to be inevitably more efficient. And Elon promises that there will be meaningful progress every single week from the Department of Government Efficiency. And with Trump executing this executive order, it officially established DOGE. And I will be closely reporting on Elon's progress with DOGE. And Elon responded to the salute controversy. Frankly, they need better dirty tricks. The "everyone is Hitler" attack is so tired. And in that same post, he's also quoting this post, which says, "The salute hoax is just another part of the dirty tricks campaign." Elon Musk posted, this is from a while ago: "In the past, I voted Democrat because they were mostly the kindness party, but they have become the party of division and hate, so I can no longer support them and will vote Republican instead. Now, watch their dirty tricks campaign against me unfold." By the way, it's actually quite important that Elon Musk does not make that same gesture ever in Germany, because it is actually a criminal offense to do that in Germany. Now, I think Elon would be okay if he did that, but let's not try the law in Germany. So Elon, if you ever travel to Germany to visit, let's say, the Giga Berlin factory, no, keep your hand low. Oh, and look, the Department of Government Efficiency is already working. It made a post here saying progress. This is the U.S. Office of Personnel Management. And this page is about the Chief Diversity Officer's Executive Council, which now does not exist. We are definitely going to see some big changes coming soon. Now this vehicle is in Europe, and unfortunately this happened, so whoever owns this vehicle, I feel sorry for that person. Whoever put these on this car should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And we have some good news here. Edmunds has named the Tesla Model 3 their top-rated electric car for 2025. And the Model Y, the refresh one, by the way, is not even out yet, so that I assume is going to be number one once it is actually out. That's it for today's news. My name is Matt Pocius. I believe that Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share, and then after that, well above it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, probably on Friday.
We're gonna make the future good. We're gonna make it good. Man, I can't wait. This is gonna be fantastic. So thank you again, and yeah, I'm just so excited about the future. Thank you guys. Thank you.